Imagine if a simple and innocent gesture, like holding a glass, could ignite an irresistible spark of passion in any woman, leaving her anxious and intrigued by you, without her realizing what's happening. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of subtle body language? In this video, we're going to explore the innocent way of holding a glass that, according to a recent study, 92% of women notice immediately, creating a magnetic tension that leaves them anxious for more. This technique isn't about cheap tricks, but about calculated movements that touch deep instincts, turning a casual conversation into something charged with mystery and attraction. Men who master this stand out, turning the game in their favor in any social encounter. But wait, because what's coming next goes beyond the basics. We're going to reveal 3 specific movements, each with its hidden psychology, and in the last revelation, you'll discover the gesture that not only captures her attention, but makes her fantasize about possibilities she can barely control. A secret that only the shrewdest know and that can completely change your interactions. Stay until the end so you don't miss this twist that will put you ahead of 99% of the guys out there. If these secrets are already making you curious, imagine what else I have to share. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss the next videos, and give a like if you want to master the art of subtle seduction. 1. The slow and deliberate touch. Imagine you. You're in a busy bar with a drink glass in your hand, and instead of just holding it in a common way, you start sliding your fingers slowly along the rim as if exploring something precious. This technique is simple. Hold the glass by the base with a firm hand, and with the other, trace smooth circles on the glass, keeping the movement rhythmic and intentional, without rushing. Do this while talking to her, letting the gesture flow naturally, as if it were an unconscious habit. The secret is in the slowness. Don't speed up, because that's where the magic happens, creating an aura of control and mystery that she feels in the air. Practice this at home so it seems effortless, turning a banal gesture into a subtle attraction tool. Why does this work? Based on attraction psychology, slow and deliberate movements signal confidence and mastery over your own body, something her subconscious interprets as irresistible masculine strength. In human behavior, rhythmic touches evoke primitive tactile sensations, making her project these movements onto more intimate interactions, without you saying a word. Studies show that gestures like this activate brain areas linked to desire, leaving her anxious for more contact. It's like a veiled invitation, where the glass becomes an extension of you, manipulating her perception in an innocent way. Men who use this notice prolonged glances and nervous smiles, proving the power of this stoic approach to emotional control. Apply this on your next date. Choose a moment when she's looking. Hold the glass and start the slow touch, maintaining brief eye contact to amplify the tension. You'll see her leaning closer, as if drawn by an invisible magnet, because the gesture awakens curiosity about what else you hide. Don't overdo it. Keep the innocence, making it seem accidental, but loaded with intention. Over time, this becomes second nature, elevating your interactions to a level where she feels intrigued and alive. It's a technique that separates ordinary men from those who dominate the subtle game of seduction. Now, think about the impact. By using the slow touch, you're not just holding a glass. You're weaving a web of sexual tension that leaves her imagining forbidden scenarios, all without apparent effort. This is the stoic basis of being mysterious without trying too hard, leaving her craving what's next. Try it and observe how she reacts, maybe touching her own glass in response, signaling that the spell worked. But this is just the beginning. What's coming next takes everything to another level. And if I tell you that the next movement doesn't involve touch, but a gaze that penetrates her soul, leaving her completely disarmed? Stay tuned, because what I reveal now will make you rethink every sip you take. 2. The fixed gaze. Before the sip, here's the second secret. Instead of drinking hastily, pause and fix your gaze on the glass for a few seconds, as if contemplating something deep, before bringing it to your lips slowly. Hold the glass at chest height, tilt your head slightly, and stare at the liquid with intensity, creating a dramatic pause in the conversation. Do this naturally, maybe while she's talking, so the gesture seems reflective and not forced. The trick is to keep a neutral expression, but with a slight smile at the corners of your mouth, suggesting you know something she doesn't. This turns the act of drinking into a captivating ritual, pulling her into your mysterious world. This technique shines in the psychology of manipulation, where a fixed gaze creates suspense and directs her attention to you, manipulating the flow of the interaction without words. Based on human behavior, intentional pauses activate innate curiosity, making her wonder what's on your mind, generating a tension that leaves her anxious. Research indicates that contemplative gestures like this evoke attraction by signaling emotional depth, something rare in casual interactions. It's like modern stoicism, where control over time and space makes you seem unshakable and intriguing. Women report feeling a subtle shiver, as if the moment carried unspoken promises. To use this effectively, practice the timing, wait for a peak in the conversation, fix your gaze on the glass for 3 to 5 seconds, then drink slowly, returning your eyes to her at the end. You'll notice her stopping talking or adjusting her posture, a sign that the technique hooked her, creating an invisible connection. Keep the innocence. It's just a glass after all, but the gaze adds layers of mystery that leave her imagining more. With repetition, this becomes your signature, making her associate you with moments of subtle intensity. It's powerful because it awakens desire without effort, leaving her anxious to unravel you. Reflect on the effect. This fixed gaze isn't just a pause. It's a weapon that plants seeds of passion, making her fantasize about what your eyes would say in more private contexts. Based on pure attraction, it explores the human instinct to be drawn to the enigmatic, elevating a simple drink to a seductive act. Men who master this report conversations flowing into bolder territories, all because of this forbidden technique. But wait, because the third goes beyond. Imagine combining this with a spin that reveals not just confidence, but a magnetism that makes her lose her breath. The final secret that turns everything into an irresistible dance of desire. Don't miss what's coming now, because it's what separates the masters from the beginners. 3. The smooth and hypnotic spin of the glass now. We've reached the climax of this triad of secrets, the movement that unites everything into a symphony of invisible seduction, the smooth and hypnotic spin of the glass. Imagine this as the grand finale of a subtle performance, where you grasp the glass by the base with firm but relaxed fingers, and start spinning it slowly on the counter or table, creating a rhythmic circular motion that seems almost meditative. It's not a quick or distracted spin, it's deliberate, with slow and consistent rotations, as if you were turning the gears of an antique clock, controlling the timing of the interaction. Do this while listening to what she says, keeping your body still and your focus on her, letting the spin happen as a hypnotic background that draws her gaze without effort. The secret lies in consistency. Spin for a few seconds. Pause and restart, creating a pattern that pulses with intention, turning an inanimate object into an extension of your personal magnetism. Why does this captivate so deeply? Grounded in behavioral psychology, circular and repetitive movements activate primitive responses in the brain, similar to those in mating rituals observed in nature, where rhythmic patterns signal stability and power. Studies in neuroscience, like those conducted by Harvard University researchers on nonverbal attraction, show that hypnotic gestures like this stimulate dopamine release in the observer, creating a light trance sensation that associates you with feelings of comfort and excitement simultaneously. In the human context, this explores the Stoic principle of environmental control. You're not just spinning a glass, you're manipulating the space around you to direct her energy toward you, making her feel an instinctive attraction, as if the motion echoed in her subconscious, evoking images of more intimate circular touches. Men who incorporate this into their interactions report that women often unconsciously mimic the gesture, a clear sign of established rapport, proving that this technique turns casual conversations into dances of veiled desire. To apply this with mastery, choose a moment of calm in the conversation, position the glass on a stable surface and start the spin with your fingertips, keeping it subtle enough not to draw excessive attention, but visible enough for her to notice. Combine with the previous elements, slow touch while spinning or fixed gaze before pausing the motion, creating a sequence that leaves her hypnotized. You'll observe subtle reactions. Maybe she crosses her legs, plays with her hair, or leans forward, signs that the spin is pulling her into your emotional vortex. Maintain absolute innocence. It's just a glass spinning, a casual habit, but loaded with deep psychology that makes her question what else you could spin in her life. With practice, this becomes an infallible tool, elevating your presence to something almost magnetic, where she feels compelled to explore more about you. It's the final touch that seals the mystery, leaving her with a lasting impression of a man who controls not just the glass, but the entire flow of attraction. Consider the cumulative power. By spinning the glass, you're not merely moving glass and liquid. You're weaving a web of tension that combines confidence, depth, and rhythm, making her visualize scenarios where these movements extend to closer interactions. Based on ancestral seduction principles, this explores the human instinct to be drawn to the rhythmic and controlled, turning a banal encounter into a memorable experience. Experienced men notice that, after this technique, conversations evolve into accidental touches or implicit invitations, all because of this spin that plants seeds of irresistible curiosity. And now, with these 3 secrets in hand, you're armed to dominate the subtle game of seduction. But let's reflect on what this really means. As we dive into these 3 secrets, the slow and deliberate touch, the fixed gaze before the sip, and the smooth and hypnotic spin of the glass, it's clear that the true art of seduction doesn't lie in grand words or exaggerated gestures, but in the mastery of the subtle, the unsaid, what pulses below the surface. These movements, inspired by human psychology, stoicism, and deep behavioral observations, turn an everyday object like a glass into a powerful attraction tool, proving that emotional control and veiled intention can create more intense connections than any direct approach. Think about it. In a world saturated with superficial interactions, where people seek authentic connections, techniques like these not only boost your confidence, but also invite the other person to participate in a mutual game of mystery and desire. They remind us that seduction is, in essence, a dance of minds and bodies, where less is more and the implicit speaks volumes. Reflect on how to apply this in your life, maybe in a casual date, or even in professional interactions where charisma counts. The impact goes beyond the romantic. It's about mastering the art of being memorable, of leaving a mark that persists even after the glass is emptied. These secrets aren't cheap tricks. They're lessons in self-mastery that can enrich not just your relationships, but your perception of yourself as a man of depth and control. And you, what do you think? How do these insights resonate with your experiences? Have you ever used something similar without realizing, or do you plan to test soon? Think about the transformative potential. Imagine how many missed opportunities could be captured with this subtlety. It's a reflection that leads us to question how aware we are of our daily gestures and how they shape the narratives of our lives. Now, if these secrets made you pause and rethink your approaches, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Share spontaneously what went through your head while listening to this. Maybe a personal story where a subtle gesture changed everything, or a question about how to adapt for different scenarios. Be open, no filters. Which of these 3 intrigued you the most and why? Or, who knows, a variation you invented. Your comments not only enrich the discussion, but help me create content even more aligned with what you're seeking. Let's make this a living conversation, where each shared insight inspires the next. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into subtle seduction, don't forget to give a like on the video. It's your way of saying that content like this is worth the time invested. Oh, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes full of value, like stoic tips for everyday life, self-development secrets, and more strategies to elevate your personal and professional life. Turn on notifications to stay on top of everything. Who knows what I'll reveal next? Until then, practice these secrets and watch the world respond in unexpected ways. Take care and see you soon.